Well, welcome everybody. Lavi Project Team 4. Coming up. I was just about to say in the books, but we're not quite there. We will be shortly. So anybody doing the countdown? Does anybody have like days to?
Not yet.
Wait, I'm not either.
Let's come for Christmas first.
That makes me panic.
Yeah, so we're gonna say.
Yeah. Countdown to Christmas, then Lavi. So, all right. Well, for those of you who are choosing to come back, thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you guys are still engaged in this project and still excited about it, and that makes me very happy, and Franz Lee and the Haitians we deal with very happy as well. I got a private message from Wilson asking who was coming not too long ago, so I didn't have all of the answers, but I'll send something to him to let him know. So in the upper right corner that is actually the original mission statement drafted on a dry erase board with my board of directors going back to late October of 2016. And that thing is preserved still. I hope it will always stay that way. I'm not sure how dry erase will last into the millennium, but we'll see. But that's who we are. That's our goal, our focus, our heart, our mission is to really be life, hope, and vision to Haiti. And we're doing that by you bringing your expertise and what you know, bringing your heart, bringing what you have as far as skills and talents to the project. So I'm excited about that. Just quick paperwork and payments. Holly is gonna process everything that she can tonight. We do have copies of most everything that you need tonight. If you didn't bring them, fill out everything you can, and if you have them already filled out, you know that you can scan them, email them, scan them, email them, or snail mail them, honestly, if you want to do that.
And the payment's different for this year?
That's correct, yeah, so the payment is, so for those of you who have paid your $500 deposit, this payment is actually $1,450, so it's $1,950 total. I do have a way to process cards tonight if you need to do that. I did mention in the email though, there's that processing fee that they take off the top, so check, cash, money order, that's better for us, so we don't have to take the hit on the processing. 3% adds up quick when you're talking about almost $2,000. So final payment December 1st of 18. All right. So this is interesting. You're going to see some of the things from last year. I thought that this file was lost and started to put a new PowerPoint together. And then Holly reminded me to check some of my thumb drives, and it was here. So some of this is not updated. So I apologize, but most of it will be relevant and pertinent. So anybody have any questions about immunization shots at this point? Hopefully this is going to help alleviate some of those things. U.S. government doesn't require anything, which is very surprising considering the amount of disease processes in Haiti, and the Haitian government doesn't have any regulations either. So some of the things that are in Haiti but are very, very, very low risk are things like typhoid, malaria, cholera. But the areas that we'll be in, the likelihood that we would be exposed to that type of thing is very low. And most of those, all three of those that I just mentioned, are all treated with antibiotics anyway. So none of these are fatal, none of these, unless you have a compromised immune system already, or if there's a chance that you are pregnant or want to become pregnant anytime soon, you want to be aware of the dengue fever and the Zika especially. So just be thinking about that if there's any of those plans, and talk to me after about that. So you can go on the CDC website. When you pull up Haiti, there's going to be giant red buzzers and flashing alerts and danger, 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 don't go, don't go, don't go. I wouldn't bring you here if I didn't think that it was safe. There's inherent risk in everything we do, whether you ski or whether you drive or whether you are in EMS or whatever. And there is inherent risk in travel, and there's inherent risk in being in a third world country. But we work very, very hard. Myself and the board have put things in place that we work very hard to mitigate those things and keep those at a very, very low occurrence. I've been traveling there since 2005. So over 25 trips now. I've never gotten dengue, I've never gotten typhoid or malaria. I can't remember the last time I was bit by a mosquito. So it's pretty safe. I brought all my children there as soon as they started turning 14. So that's how safe I feel and Holly as well. So go ahead and check the CDC. There is some decent information on there if you want to see it, but just don't panic and call. If you're like surfing at 2 a.m. at work and call me at 2:30 in the morning saying that why are we going to this awful place? Because it's awful. That's why we're going there.
There's spiders there, though.
There are spiders. There is.
Big cockroaches.
There are big cockroaches.
And they like you.
Yeah.
They're friendly.
They like me.
They're so kind. No, they like all of us. You'll see them particularly in the shower. But they mind their business.
Yeah. They're palmettos, so they're large. They're not dirty cockroaches, but they're kind of like grungy Asian bugs.
And
They're different.
I do not like bugs, and they're fine. Truly.
So to answer your question, Sue, I have a picture of me holding the leg of a tarantula, but that's in the southern part of Haiti where we won't be. So everybody will be fine. If anybody sees a tarantula, let me know. I'd be interested to see it where we're staying.
And there's a lot of bugs deterred by dryer sheets, so you might wanna research that and tuck a couple dryer sheets in
Yeah,
here.
that's true. That's true. We're gonna actually cover a couple of those little tricks of the trade. So one of the things that we did for Lavi is we instituted this Corey check. So some of you have been traveling with the team for a while now. Some of you got this will be a third, this will be fourth for Eric. We didn't have the Corey checks initiated in the beginning. We do now because we're staying with a family that has children, we're dealing with an orphanage that has over 50 children, and we want to protect our organization, we want to protect you, and we want to protect them as well. So that's why we're doing the Corey checks. It's a pretty standard thing for almost anything you do now. So we and the board thought that it would be a good idea to make sure we had those in place. Very low cost to us, and it just creates a safer environment. I apologize, I was supposed to make quick mention. Eric Bagby in the back of the room, wave again. So this year, this is Eric's fourth trip, and Eric is going to be essentially shadowing me for this trip as we start his team leader training. So this is a new kind of thing for us. We're looking at putting another team together this year, so we might actually have 2 teams in 2019, and the business model, the plan is to get up to, within 5 years, to have teams every other month, and then possibly be putting sustainable work project teams in between that every other month medical teams. So we're really looking to grow. There's no way I can do all those trips. I would love to do all those trips, but I can't. So Eric will be shadowing me, and he's actually gonna do a little bit of this later. Remind me when we get to 1 or 2 of those slides. I think they're mixed in there. Okay. And Eric will present a couple of these things tonight as well. So the teamwork aspect, obviously we know this, most everybody here is from the medical field. So we understand teamwork, whether it's interdisciplinary, whether it's interfacility, whether it's, in the truck with your partner who you have a contentious relationship with. We all get it. We've all been there. So we're gonna touch on that a little bit later. So I don't know if we mentioned the passports, kind of important. Anybody not have a passport right now? Awesome. Those people that were waiting for passports that were expired, everyone has them. You have yours, you have yours. Yours is still coming.
It's coming. It's gonna be here soon.
Of course it's gonna be here. You got plenty of time. All right, so this is directed to you now. Hi.
Oh, hi.
Great.
Thank you for calling me out
Sure.
for all these people.
You're welcome. As soon as you get it, just shoot a picture and send it. Most of you just took a picture with your phone and sent it. That worked out fine. So, yeah. If you have it with you tonight, great. If not, just make sure you get it in the mail. I'll probably mention passports again and again and again. It truly is the no passport, no go. That's just how it works. You can't even go to Canada anymore without your passport, so.
Well, do you need a picture of the updated one?
Yes.
You do, okay.
Yes. So the reason, let me tell you this, the reason I keep copies of the passports is in the event that something happens to your passport, or in the event that something happens to the group of passports that I'll collect and we put in the safe, let's say they get flooded or there's stuff, fire, whatever, the US Embassy will accept that and then reissue temporary passports for everyone, as long as we have some sort of documentation. So I recommend, I obviously keep them for me and my records. I recommend to you, make a copy, maybe two, put one in your check bag and then put one in the backpack or whatever bag you're gonna be carrying on the plane. So just in the event that you lose a tag on your bag and somebody's challenging, that's my bag, you can say, open it and you can show them the copy of your passport and say, no, that's my bag. You can't have it. So a lot of information we're gonna cover. Please stop me at any point if you have any questions, all right? And don't worry, I'm gonna try not to smack you. I can see him a couple times, like, do you feel safe at home? All right, so the Haitians speak Creole. It's not the Louisiana style. There's actually probably 20 or more different Creole dialects. The Haitian Creole is a mixture of Swahili and French. If you took French in school, probably not going to be a lot of help. A little bit maybe, but Creole is, it's, French has really no phonetic ties to English, but Haitian Creole actually does. So that it's a probably 10% English, 40% Swahili, 40% French, and it's all kind of mixed together. So it's not too hard. You can actually get a handful of phrases. I think we sent you some of those in the documents. Just go over those. There's probably 10, 15 of them. There are places you can go online to pull up Haitian, just videos and training. There's a ton of them on YouTube. You know a few.
Pimsleur's really good.
Pimsleur, yep. Pimsleur, Pimsleur. Yep. That was my initial training I did through Pimsleur, and was recommended to me. Another one is Byki, B-Y-K-I. And those are, that's right there.
Do we get this PowerPoint after class?
I can send it.
If it,
Absolutely.
This is.
Yeah. Sure. Yep.
Thank you,
Yep, I forgot to put the copyright here, so don't give it to anybody.
promise. Thank you.
Yes, so we will have interpreters, and from the suggestion of former team members from past trips, we are going to actually have some female interpreters this year. So that was we deal with a lot of female patients with some personal female issues, and so they were always very good, and teams were always very professional. But we thought that it would be a nice thing to actually have some female interpreters available for that kind of stuff. So we will have that this year. So don't panic about not knowing Creole. You're going to learn it. You're going to pick it up if you just pay attention to your interpreters. You're going to hear a lot of things that you're going to be able to pick up very easy. You're going to learn the word for pain. You're going to learn the word for stomach and head, and all those things. You'll hear them and pick them up quick. All right. So food. Anybody have any concerns about food? Anybody with general or small change in diet, your systems just go upside down? Anybody? Okay. Dairy? Okay. No dairy in Haiti, literally. There's not enough.
No, there's that cheese stuff in the.
It's cheesy corn.
Okay.
Sometimes
Like I said, there's no dairy in Haiti. I say that you're obviously going to be looking as you eat, but there's no cows in Haiti, or maybe there might be 3. There's no grass for cows to eat. There's no.
Not making a lot of milk.
Yeah, and Haitians just don't drink milk. It's just not part of their diet because it's so hard to keep anything fresh. A lot of them don't have refrigerators and things like that. So, any other allergies or food issues? Awesome, good. So we should be good. And if you see something, if something comes up and it's a cream-based sauce, let me know, and I'll be able to check. The likelihood that it's dairy is probably not good. They do use dry milk on occasion, so I'll check for you anyway. So breakfast is pretty standard fare for us. Oatmeal, Haitian oatmeal, which is delicious. They cook it for a long time, and there's cloves and allspice and things in it. It's delicious. Cinnamon, toasted breads, pancakes. There's always fruit for breakfast, fresh fruit, bananas, papayas, mangoes, that type of thing. So once we get there, they'll know ahead of time how many of us are there. Looks like we don't have any real special dietary issues. And so they'll gauge this for us. If we are on the ground for any length of time and meals are declining in like quantity or something like that, and I don't notice, please don't feel badly about saying, hey, there wasn't quite enough or whatever. This is a big team, and so they're gonna be kind of figuring it out too. And they want that feedback from us. We are literally considered like honored guests, and so they want to do their very best to take care of us, so don't feel badly about letting me know if there's something going on with the food or whatever, all right? If you don't like it, it's just, I don't care if you don't like it. But we will figure out something else for you. Coffee is served every morning. It's usually upstairs and ready to go. And I need this truly, hands for coffee drinkers.
How high is that
Okay,
raise?
so that helps me because we were running out regularly, so I'm gonna make sure that they'll double up on the coffee in the morning. So we pack lunch. Even on the days that we're not doing clinics, we basically, Holly and I will shop. Eric is gonna help me this year. We're gonna shop. We bring everything from tuna, peanut butter and jelly, salami, shelf-stable cheese, shelf-stable salami as well, and Spam. Yes, Spam. If it was up to me, we would have Spam every day. So you can thank whoever it is that it's not me who makes the decision. So we will buy fresh bread from the market. There's actually neighborhood vendors that actually cook bread, and that's safe. Anything you get food-wise that comes from Franzley or the house or comes from me, it's safe to eat. If you see me eating something that you are like questioning,
We want you first.
watch me first. Wait 24 hours. No, I try to be good about no, it's not true. I try to be good about not eating things that would take me out of the game. But now that I have a co-team leader, and Holly will also be there this year as my executive, I might be able to take a day off. Supper and dinner. There is always a meat protein, so chicken, turkey, beef. Sometimes they'll do a pork. Pork is a little tough down there because most of the meat fresh they get from the Dominican. So the Haitians don't eat a lot of pork. But the chicken, turkey, and beef, ground beef, that's all stuff that they buy frozen. It's safe. Every single thing that we eat, these teams that are with Franzley are trained to prepare food for us. So they're washing the vegetables in solutions that are getting rid of the bugs, getting rid of the salmonella, getting rid of all that stuff. I've been traveling there again for quite a long time, almost 15 years, and I have never gotten sick from the food from their house. Street food's different, but I have never gotten sick from there. So
That's delicious.
and it is delicious. Yeah,
Oh, it's so good. That's how I'm going back.
Is it?
But the food is delicious, I can.
They do a fantastic job, and I asked them to really try and keep it traditional Haitian for that impact, and just that exposure for us. It used to be that, you know, sometimes back in the day there a giant bowl of market basket faux macaroni and cheese would come up with chopped up hot dogs, and we would love it, we would eat it, we would all have a great time, but you know, and then we were like, hey, we would really love the Haitian food, and so that's what they do for us now, and it's very good. Always a salad, always some vegetables. There really should always be enough. The only thing we talk about is just make sure when you go through the first time, just single serving, make sure everybody gets through, especially with a team like this the first few days, and seconds are, you know, kind of first come. If you see somebody struggling, like they're not eating well, or if you're not eating well or something's happening, please let somebody know. and we're gonna talk about that a little bit more, but just as we're on the topic of food. And there'll be juice. On occasion, they will, yes,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I need you to.
Just on the topic of lunch,
Yeah.
some days we can have a really long day. So if you see something on there you're not too fond of, make sure you bring plenty of snacks
Yes.
during the day.
Yeah, if we are actually having Spam one day and you are not interested in Spam,
We will have peanut butter and
I
jelly.
don't know why, we'll have peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, we'll have something else for you. So if you know tuna fish, some people don't like tuna fish, that's fine. We'll make sure that there's something for you to eat. I always suggest, and we talk about this day, kind of day one on the ground there, to just keep your backpack with you all the time and just have some snacks in there just to carry us over. We're healthy Americans. We can miss a meal and probably most of us will be okay. But we don't want anybody to go through that if they don't need to.
So we should bring our own snacks?
Cliff bars.
Yeah, so we're
Like,
gonna,
like, things like that.
exactly.
Crackers, you know, little
Peanut butter crackers, Cliff
Anything
bars,
like
power
that.
bars, granola,
suitcase.
beef jerky is a big thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Absolutely. No safety concerns, don't drink from the water in the faucet of the shower. Don't panic if you get some in your mouth. So the water is delivered in a truck and it's pumped into a cistern underneath the house, sealed cistern. But it's not truly potable. I mean, we're in a third world country. So you don't have to worry about like taking a shower and some getting in your mouth or your eyes or whatever. You don't want to be drinking from the shower head. And if you forget and you brush your teeth and rinse with this faucet water, which I guarantee at least 70% of us will do, don't panic. It's okay. We don't want to drink it as if it's regular drinking water. There will be on the ground day one. There's probably going to be 30 or 40 5-gallon jugs of Poland Springs, or not Poland Springs, but Culligan water, and that will always stay stocked. So we will never be without water. And that's a guarantee from myself and Franz Lee, that we will make sure that there's always clean water for everybody. So street vendors, I talked about that. If I'm getting something off the street, I'm probably buying enough to share, and it's safe for you to eat if I'm offering it out. So there's places where they make homemade peanut brittle, right on the side of the road in these little open fire pits, and there's some places that make like corn on the cob and they roast it right over the fire. And so there's certain things, there's different things that we might come across. If I give it to you or Franz Lee offers it, it's perfectly fine. If we're out somewhere on a day off and you see a vendor and you really want to try whatever it is, just please find me, and I'll, because if it's just on the top of the table, absolutely not. But it might be something that if they make it right there and put it into the oil and fry it right there, it might be safe. So it's not an automatic rule out, but just make sure that you don't do it without asking. And when in doubt, just ask. So money to bring. I know that a lot of you are starving college students. I know that you have to pay off some of your professors. So I'm not gonna, that's not true. So I recommend about $300. If you can't do that, please do not panic. Your $1950 covers everything you will need. You will not go without food, water, clean bed, clean sheets, and everything else that we can provide for you. You won't go without that. The reason I say 300 is because there's different expenses that will come up. We have these things called holdouts. So during our clinics, if we find someone that is outside of our scope in regards to treatment, they have what we think might be an appendicitis. They have maybe a cellulitis that we think we probably are not going to be able to get ahead of by treating them just with antibiotics, and they should be seen overnight. We had very dehydrated and sick babies last year. We'll actually, right then and there, I'll stop the clinic. I'll ask everybody to reach in your backpacks, pull out a few dollars. Usually, depending on what it is, we can probably get them treated, have a stay overnight, and give them some medication for about 100 American, 120. So we might see none of them, or we might see 5 of them in a clinic day. So if you have it, bring it. If you don't have the extra money, it's okay. I don't want anybody to feel badly about that. I have some of that built into the budget anyway. You just let me know. Like once we get there, and you're a couple days in, and you feel like your money's tight, just pull me aside, give me a heads up so that I can be sensitive about that. You know, we might collect money for, you know, a movie night for the orphans. I'm gonna make sure to, you know, bypass you so that you have, you know, at least $20 to get home and, you know, for travel or whatever. So we'll accommodate that. Just ones, fives are best. 10s are okay. 20s not really. There's no change in Haiti. If you barter with somebody for, you know, they start at 50 and you get them down to $7 and you have a 10, that item costs you $10 because there's no such thing as change. So if anybody's traveled into the islands and buys those little wares from the islanders and the artists, and they know how that works. So everything that you might want to buy, for the most part, bracelets, you know, Tin City. There's all kinds of things you can get at Tin City for under $10. There's things you can get for hundreds of dollars there. But most of the places we go will just be small, kind of souvenir type things. Everything that we buy there, or almost everything there, is Haitian made. So you're helping somebody, you're kind of giving some money into the economy. There will be people who are going to want to sell to you. They'll even bring stuff to the house where we're staying. Some of the older orphans that have now gone on to secondary school or to university, they make a little bit of their extra money by making different things like handcrafted cards and necklaces and you know, belt buckles or whatever it is.
I carried around in my backpack. I just
Awesome.
remembered it. It's
Yep.
just a little like tin heart that
Yep.
I got. It was something I bought when I was down there. But yeah, I always keep
Yep.
coming. But yeah, little things like that.
Cool. So that stuff's available. Haitian coffee you're going to be able to buy. Bourbon Court is the actual rum of Haiti, and the distillery is right in Port-au-Prince, and it's actually a world-renowned rum. It's very, very good. So, and yeah, it's good. Anything else I need on that, Holly? Look good? Eric, where are you supposed to jump in? You know your cues?
Passports.
Yep.
Housing, and a few other things.
Got it. Cool. So I just talked about holdouts, just kind of what that entails, what that looks like. There are some things, unfortunately, and we'll talk about this a little bit in the clinical portion. There are some things that are going to be beyond our help. We've had situations where moms have come in with 6-month-old babies with hydrocephalus that never got treated, and they want their child to be better, and we can't make that better. So we'll see some of those things. We'll see children that have displaced fractures that are a year old, and they've got some mobility issues because of that. We don't really have the resources. They don't have the resources in Haiti to do reconstructive surgery and true orthotic type surgery, orthopedic surgery, excuse me. So there's certain things that we're going to come across. When you do, if you don't have the answer or you need to have a little bit of extra support, some of the other providers that have seen it. Just talk to them, grab somebody. Don't worry about interrupting somebody. Just grab somebody so that we can have that conversation with them. They'll be disappointed, but they do understand, and that mom's probably been to other clinics before and heard the same story, but they still want to try at least. And you know, we want to love them and encourage them the best we can. So that's where our holdouts are coming in, and we'll have a specific sheet that we'll do that training when we get there. You'll fill that holdout sheet out. The Haitians make less than $2 a day, but if they don't have a cell phone, I'm surprised. Everybody has a cell phone down there, and if they don't, their cousin who lives in the same house with them has a cell phone. So we want to make sure that we get that number, we get the village we're in, and whoever the pastor or the team leader that helped us put that clinic together, we're going to gather all that information so that we make sure we are able to contact them back. One of the difficult things, and it was a little bit of a struggle for some of the team members in the past couple trips, it's very, very, very hard to follow up. So we're doing our due diligence in the very best we can to try and make sure that we are able to do those follow-ups. But some we just can't get in touch with. It's just the nature of the country. So we'll do our best.
So it's a dorm style living situation, so we all have to share the power that's provided for us. Some of it is generator based, some of it comes off of power lines, and none of it is reliable. So some days we have power, some days we do not. Please don't bring anything that will overtax the power system, i.e. Professional hair dryers and curling irons and things of that nature. So don't bring any of those. You should be able to have power. It's pretty much morning and night is the most reliable. During the day it gets pretty difficult. You'll also have cell service for the most part, so you should be able to make phone calls home if you need be, and people should be able to contact you. When we're out in the countryside, that's not always the case, so.
And be aware it's pricey, so contact your carrier. Sometimes they have packages for $39 or whatever for a month, and it reduces the cost significantly. But if you're not under some sort of international plan, it could cost you, $2.50 a text, or it's $3 a minute for your phone. So that adds up quick. So just check into that before you go. Yes.
Can you buy a phone card in the country if you have an unlocked phone?
You can, but that's limited. They have two specific carriers, Digicel and Netcell, those, if to find something that might work on your phone, it might not. So I would say the likelihood is small, but not impossible.
Okay.
We wouldn't be able to dedicate a lot of time to trying to find it.
Okay.
Any other questions on power supply? No? This one's yours, Bob.
All right, stay around. So, cultural sensitivity. For those of you who haven't traveled outside the country, or at least to a place like a third world country, we're going to see a lot of things. There's the literacy rate is very low. The basic health care is obviously very, very low, minimal. That's why we're doing what we're doing, obviously. And our first world mentality can sometimes hinder our ability to do the right thing. Every single person in this room has a heart to do the right thing, and we all are going to practice do no harm. That's without question. There isn't anybody in here that I question on that. But there are sometimes things that we think are going to be the right things that might not be. Medically speaking, no, we'll skip that. We'll come back to that in a minute. So the Western agenda is efficiency, right? Every single thing in our culture is about efficiency. When you put efficiency into the equation in Haiti, sometimes and oftentimes that will actually hinder the Haitian more than it will help them. So an example of that is we have a project, we're going to pour a concrete slab, or we're going to build an outhouse, or we're going to build a schoolroom or something like that. We could rent a cement mixer in Haiti, and it would cost us a couple $100 American, and we would get that job done very quickly. That $200, however, could be broken up to 10 laborers, Haitian laborers. It wouldn't go as fast, but we would be putting $10 into the pocket of 10 laborers, and that's 5 times what their normal daily wages. So our efficiency will often put us in a place where we think that it's going to be better, and it's not always better. We will see this in some of our clinics where you're going to come across someone and you're going to see this person. You're going to say, we need to do this. This woman has, we see a lot of people with hypertension. We want to treat people with hypertension. But if this is a woman who's had a borderline hypertension issue where she's, 138, 148 over, 90, and she's been maintaining that for a length of time, and she's 40 years old, we don't want to create rebound effect for her by putting her on a hypertensive, her running out, and then her bouncing back up and increasing that hypertension. So to us, our Western culture is, I don't have any more Silipro, I'll go to the pharmacy and get it. They can't necessarily do that. Now, if we've come across someone who's got really out of control hypertension, that's someone that we're going to want to treat, and we're going to give them that initial dose, that initial education, that training. We're going to give them an extra dose, and that might be a hold-up thing where we collect $30, $40, $50. That might be enough to carry them for an entire year. And that would give them the opportunity, once we tell them that they need it, to start to squirrel away a little bit of money or make a plan to be able to come back to us the next year and or be able to buy and continue their medication. So our Yankee ingenuity and our kind of Western thing doesn't always work down there very well. And we just need to be flexible. We need to figure out how to adapt to that. So the mission statement is our guide. And that mission statement was on the board at the beginning. You know, Lavi Project mobilizes local volunteers to ease the suffering of hunger, poverty,
Illness, disease.
disease, hunger, and poverty, while empowering the people of Haiti with life, hope, and vision. So that's really, you'll hear that come up and you'll see that come up. We really want to stick to that mission. That's really important for us. It's very easy for an organization to get pulled off somewhere. Somebody says, hey, we need 13 wells, and all of a sudden now Lavi's drilling wells and not doing medical. You know, we want to make sure we stay true to the mission and true to what we're doing. Doesn't mean that we won't do some off things. It doesn't mean that that might not be something in the future, but that's really where we are right now. So 9 or 10 days. We can do anything for 9 or 10 days, honestly. How many of you guys have been holding out for something for months or years, or you know what I mean? How many of you have in this job have not gone to sleep for 48 or 56 hours? You know, we've all been there, we've all done it. It can be a little problematic, it can be tough. Our interaction with the culture is going to be a lot different than our interaction here. When we walk down the street, if we were to do an experiment and head out to the Pheasant Lane Mall, this entire group of people could walk through the mall and not one other person that you don't know would say hello to you. In Haiti, almost everybody you walk past will give you a greeting. They will say hello to you. They will interact with you. And that's sometimes disarming, or alarming, I guess, to people like, well, why is everybody friendly? You guys, right? We experienced that. So the cultural sensitivity also, there'll be women will be driving and there'll be a body of water and it will look absolutely horrible. Trash all around it. It looks like chocolate milk, and they'll be washing their clothes in it, and their kids will be bathing in it, and the cow is drinking from it, and the guy upriver is washing his truck, and the 3 women washing all their clothes are topless. Very culturally normal. You know, when Holly and I lead teams, in the past we've had mostly teenagers, missions-driven teams, and so we have to be really cognizant about making sure to let them know that that's happening. Not as big a deal with this team, but just so you have a heads up, there's going to be pictures flying around everywhere. You guys take pictures of everything you possibly can. Just be aware that, kind of get a little bit of background before you snap a shot of someone standing on the bridge and there's, 3 naked ladies at the back of the line. So
And they might flag you off if they don't want their picture taken. They'll put their hand up and they just expect you to respect that and not take a picture.
absolutely. Yeah. Some of that is just they just don't want to have their picture. Others, it's a religious thing. They believe that photo snaps a little piece of their spirit or their soul away. So we want to be respectful of that. This is obviously the mission. We have our mission statement. This is a mission, do no harm. We are going to practice that. The foundation of these medical clinics come from a very well-respected PA that lived in the country for a long time and operated under the foundation of our kind of treatment protocols. We've changed those, we've adapted those in certain ways, but the true core, foundational core of it is still there. And he was an excellent mentor, and he had a heart that was truly about doing no harm. And so there is no American College of Surgeons or doctors. There's no governmental medical oversight in this country. But that doesn't just give us carte blanche to do whatever we want. We're not down there setting up surgical suites. We're not asking mothers in labor to come and we're going to deliver all their babies. That's not what we're there for. We're there really to do village level medicine and to impact people in ways that that infection they have on their foot, untreated, especially in Haiti, could be debilitating or deadly. We're gonna see those things, we're gonna impact those things, we're gonna change those things. But anybody that we see that is outside of that, we're going to move on, we're gonna pass on. Meaning that we're going to get them to a higher level of treatment if at all possible. Please understand, we are not gonna be able to treat everybody, we're not gonna be able to change everybody's circumstance, and that's a difficult thing. It's even still difficult for me to know that, you know, there's this particular case that no matter what kind of money we throw at it, no matter what kind of situation we try to change for them outside of bringing them back to the States, is gonna make any difference. And that's a hard conversation to have. It has to be had between the team, and it also has to be had with the person who's there expecting that change. So it's a completely new environment. We will be having clinics in tiny little dirt floored schoolhouses where like your tin roof and pallets, and maybe we'll have one in a church that's got a cement floor and 100 pews, and maybe we have one that's under a tree. It is completely random, and I don't know what the exact clinic looks like until I get there either. So my job is to get there and kind of oversee where we're gonna set up and how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna take the feedback from you guys about different things, but just so you know, it's you know, it's not a brick and mortar clinic, so it doesn't show up. If you haven't been involved in this, your brain has no place to file this information, so it can be very overwhelming. There's all this information, all this new stuff coming at you, and it just floats around. You know, when you see a tree, you know it's a tree, your brain files it in the tree file, it doesn't file it in the water file. When you see that you're gonna be providing medicine under a tree next to a cow with 200 Haitian people, you know, sitting less than 10 yards away from you waiting to be seen, you have no place to put that. So it can be emotionally overwhelming. So we'll have some discussions about that. We're gonna go over the clinical protocols. That document is in the final stages of being updated, and I have a meeting with a gentleman, a doctor from Lawrence General. Hopefully, we've been trying to get this squared away for quite some time, but we've made a commitment to get it done. He's gonna get a copy of this to actually go over and look at what medicines we have, what kind of our treatment algorithms are, and give us some extra feedback. And so that's a good thing. We had some very talented people involved in that process, so we're just gonna have another set of eyes on it to make sure we're good. So we're talking about scope of practice. You know, there are situations where we might see someone with a fresh wound, and that wound needs to be cleaned, sterilized, and sutured. We're gonna do that for them. Well, that's not necessarily in scope, but it is in scope for this particular case or situation. So those types of things we might run into, and you know, we had a couple of people that had abscesses that were large and painful, and you know, so we actually provided some relief. My daughter Bethany did a great abscess drainage procedure for this young little girl, and you know, we heard that she had a great outcome. So yeah, so some of that stuff is things that we would not normally do here. We do provide modesty for our female patients. We have a lot of female patients, and there are a lot of female issues. So we do set up a separate area for them to go into, so that there can be an exam. And we're gonna talk about that a little more in depth, but I'm probably gonna mostly speak to the RNs in the room about, you know, kind of heading up that those things when they come through. So brush up on your female stuff.
You got it.
What's that?
Said you got it. Watching John Casey do it, that was just something else.
Yeah. Family dynamics, we're gonna have a mother that's gonna come, and she's gonna have 2 tickets, and she's gonna have 4 children. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And the other 3 children are gonna be standing there looking at you. And you're gonna know that they're malnourished and they're whatever. If we're still okay, if we're still in you know, our supplies are good or whatever, we're gonna try and treat all those kids. You know, if they all have worms, we're gonna try and treat all the kids. If they all have some sort of scabies or something, if you treat the one kid with the ticket and the other 3 you don't, it doesn't work. So everyone's gotta be treated. So we will take that stuff into consideration. We will see seeking behavior. There will be people seeking medicine. Even though we don't have opiates and even though we don't have addictive type medicines, there are gonna be people who are seeking Tylenol. They're gonna be seeking ibuprofen because they don't have it and they have aches and pains too. So if there's an opportunity to get free medicine, they're gonna try and get it. And you'll see that. You'll be treating a person and they'll say, oh, Tetfamol, they have a headache. Okay, stomach file. Okay, we're gonna give them some Tums. And the one thing you gotta not do, and we learned this, right? What's the one question you're not gonna ask them? Some of you treatment guys that have been there.
What, anything else?
Yep, that's it. That's it. Yeah, so,
Favorite night, favorite one.
yeah.
Really?
So you really can't ask that question because they will find something. They will tell you something that's wrong with them. And we wanna treat the most acute things, so we try not to ask that question. They wait for care during our setup. Last year, we got to the clinic up on the hill, and that room beside the clinic was full. There was 200 people in there waiting, and we got there at 8:30. They've been there for hours, and it's very common for them. When they know there's a clinic coming and they've got a ticket, they're gonna go. So let me explain the ticket real quick. It is, we actually do charge for the Haitians to come to these clinics, but it's not like we're charging them the $45 copay that we pay. We're basically charging them 1 good, or 3 good. We're charging them 3 good. So 6 good, 7 good is $1. So depending on where the clinic is, depending on the village leader or the pastor who's helping us set this clinic up, our cost might be 1 good, it might be 3 good. It's gonna be somewhere under 50 cents. And that does 2 things. It creates some ownership from the people who have tickets to police their own villages and their own areas. So the people that don't have tickets come in and now they're getting the medicine that they could possibly get. We run out of medicine every single clinic. There are things that we run out of. So we need to make sure that, you know, as we're seeing people, they have tickets, we'll have that set up. The other reason the tickets are there is because it keeps down that seeking behavior. People just coming to get stuff so that they can leave with it and sell it down the road. We can't get rid of all of that, obviously, but that's one of the reasons. Creates safety for us too, because if you have a free something, let's say you're down there and you show up to a village and you say free food, you know, or you throw out a pile of candy in a group of Haitian kids, you know, it's just a melee and people get hurt. So that's one of the other reasons we do that. I've had that question before, like, how can you charge them? Well, we're charging them something very, very small for a very big benefit, and that creates a lot of ownership for them. So operational flow, we're gonna get up in the morning, we're gonna eat breakfast, we're gonna pack the truck, because everything's mobile, we do mobile clinics. We're gonna drive to wherever it is, it could be a 2-hour drive. So if it's a 2-hour drive, we're getting up at 5:30, we're eating breakfast at 6, or, you know, maybe we're up at 5:30 breakfast, 6 o'clock on the road, 8:30 at the clinic site, and it's automatic setup. We wanna get the clinic up and running and seeing our first patients by 9. Have you given me the sign yet? Okay.
Not yet.
I
Sorry,
just
me?
didn't know if I missed it.
You got about 9 minutes.
I got what?
9 minutes.
9 minutes, awesome. So patients are awaiting care, they're gonna be kept in a location, kind of a triage area, they're gonna come through with controls. They're gonna see a provider team. The provider teams are gonna be set up in tables. The year before, I think we started with 2 providers per table, and we loved it. And so we're gonna continue that model. So there's gonna be 2, there'll be an experienced provider that's already been with Lavi and done clinics at the table with you if you're a first timer. And you're gonna have the opportunity to you're gonna pick up fast, I promise. It's gonna be an incredible learning curve because you don't really have a choice, you gotta learn it, you gotta figure it out. So we'll see those people, the provider team, there'll be one interpreter, 2 providers, then your patient. So every team will end up with about 4 people in process. They're gonna get their assessment, they'll get treated for anything that's immediate, they'll get their prescription, and then they're gonna move to the pharmacy. And the pharmacy is going to get their meds prepared for them, and then there's gonna be a discharge where there'll be, and there's interpreters at every stage. The interpreters are gonna explain to them what the medication is, again, even though we've already done that, explain how to take it, when to take it, and any special instructions that we might put in the note for them. And if there's something where we're gonna give them some money to further their treatment, then those things are gonna get kind of flagged by somebody in pharmacy so that I can have the discussion with that person and the village leader or the pastor or somebody, just to kind of have that accountability there. So that's the flow. This is the kind of the process. This is I think a nursing thing, right? We don't use, do we use this in EMS? This is not ours.
There's no planning.
It's good.
There's no plan.
It's kind of the last 2.
That's
We
seriously.
intervene and then we find out, well, what's really happening? What is going on?
Yeah, don't ask me.
So pharmacy takes the longest to set up, and we have some providers that have done pharmacy really well. They'll be doing that first day, just to make sure that we get some other people. Once we get everything set up, we're gonna have as many people as we can with them, even if just to observe the process, because the idea is we're gonna try and rotate people through this different stations like intake, treatment, provider tables, pharmacy, discharge, just so that everyone kind of has that real full experience. And then the kind of reinforcing teaching is a lot of the provider's responsibility, but don't panic if you don't think they're getting it. Let me know so that I can find one of our better interpreters and we can really spend a little bit of extra time so that you can get tied up at your table and not being able to see people. It will happen. So be aware of your surroundings. There's always the chance that things can get squirrely, and by squirrely I mean like they might lose control of the triage area, and so then all of a sudden there's people standing in your treatment area and not in the triage area. And so we have to kind of stop everything and wrangle everybody up and kind of reset everything and get it going again. And the team mentality thing is just critically important. I expect you guys to be bouncing all your ideas off each other. I think the last 2 years with the core team that's been and is coming back, my job was easy because you guys were all over it. Like if Curtis, you were treating at a table and Seth, you were at another table and you saw him like doing this, you were like, dude, what's up? Or Eric was doing the same thing. Our nurses were supporting and helping everybody. So there's a lot of that collaboration. And there are some decisions that we'll make as an entire team. There are some decisions that I might end up making on my own. And that's only just because I've experienced it, or it's a time crunch, or something's going on. If I do that and you need to know why, please ask me. Maybe it might not in that moment, but I will be completely transparent. You might not like my answer, but I will be transparent, and I'll try to help you understand why we decided this versus that or whatever. So there'll be some of those things as well. All right, talk about some luggage.
Luggage. This is going to be a tricky one because luggage is really hard, especially when we get to Haiti. So first and foremost, when you're packing your luggage, you're limited to 2 50-pound checked bags. Please hold yourself to just one so that we can bring down supplies. We're going to be packing a lot of supplies, whether it's medications, tools that we use on our clinic days or our work days. And we usually bring a lot of supplies for the orphans. There's 50 kids there, so we try and bring a lot of toys and candy and stuff like that. So the less luggage you bring, the more we can bring. So that's important to us. So try and keep it to your 2 normal checked baggage. For those of you that haven't flown before, it's essentially 2 backpacks and then 1 checked bag. Cover the cost of the checked bag, correct?
Yes, because we booked as a group, the first bag is free, the first 50-pound bag is free. There are, that's all I have.
Okay. If you wanna bring 10 duffel bags, you're gonna pay for it, and I think it's expensive, so
Yes, it is.
try to pack up.
$45 a bag, each extra bag. And Lavi will be paying for those ones that Eric's talking about, where we pack the extra ones to get our supplies down there.
So you will probably be assigned a bag. Try and keep track of it when we get, they'll all be like marked and labeled, but if you could just be responsible for an extra bag when we get to the airport in Haiti, that will probably be the most stressful time of our entire trip. If we can get through that, we're gonna be golden. It is a very stressful situation. People are gonna try and corral you and weasel money out of you and check your bags, and Bob has a really good system of telling people to go somewhere else and leave us alone.
Yeah.
And we tend to get through it all right, but it can be really stressful, so just be prepared for that scenario. Those of us that have been before will help you. There's a whole routine we have down with carts and supplies and tracking people, and once we get outside the airport, we will be greeted by Fransley and his helpers. If no one here recognizes someone that's trying to help you, don't let them help you, because they'll put your hand on your bag and they'll walk you 10 feet and then they want $10, and that's not appropriate. So
You will get inundated with people like that inside the airport. It's a little better than it used to be, but it's still, they're everywhere. They're gonna wanna touch your bag. As soon as they touch your bag, they think that you owe them something. Don't panic if they touch your bag. Just say, no merci. It just means no. No thank you, no thank you, no thank you.
Is it best to be firm or smile? Or...
No, you can smile at first, but they might not listen. And then you literally can be like, no,
Yeah.
go away,
Okay.
and they'll get it. They'll be as persistent as you allow them to be. And a lot of people just kind of give up because they're not sure and they're not confident. I would say if that's you, and it's okay if that's you because it's pretty overwhelming in the airport, point to me, or if you don't see me, just simply say, big boss, big boss. They understand that term, and they'll know to look for me. I have certain people in the airport that I deal with, and they know me, and so they'll as soon as they see all the white people coming down the terminal, they're looking. So they know the team leaders, they know who they are. So as soon as they see me, they'll come to me, and I know the ones that I want to deal with. But they will come to you as well, and if they don't listen to you, you just either find me or just say big boss. You can say Big Papa, they know me by Big Papa. Either one of those will work, and then they'll leave you alone.
And it's very helpful to look purposeful. If you're unsure of what you're doing, don't let it show on your face. Look at somebody on the team like, man, I'm right with him, I'm following him. Just look very confident that you know what you're doing, and they're far more likely to just kind of give you that little bit of
Fake it
space.
till you make it.
And there's points where there's people who will try and extort money because they get the sense that everybody's coming, that there's probably medical supplies and things in there, and they'll try and skirt Bob aside and do something. If he says go, just literally eyes on the back of the person's head ahead of you that you know from the team, and just go and just get out of the airport.
we stick out like sore thumbs.
Yeah.
This slide is for Seth. You had an issue next year. It's not gonna happen again. If you feel the need to bring any liquids, please put it on your checked bag. That way you don't have to deal with it going through airport security. But if you must bring liquids, please keep it within these guidelines that's restricted to the FAA. I'm not gonna recite them to you. Plastic bag, what is it, 1 quart bag,
1 quart size plastic bag,
100 mls.
yeah, 3.4 ounce. So anything that you can see in the travel section at Walgreens, CVS, Target, that's your size. So if you have things that you aren't gonna buy there, but you're wondering if it's too much or too little, just look at that and that'll give you an idea.
Any questions on that? No. Sweet. Travel tips. Yes.
Go back to the bottom, the wallet. That's important for the
Oh.
guys.
Yeah. Just try and stick to 1 ID and 1 credit card. Chances are you won't need a credit card there unless we go out and, like, you may wanna buy drinks or food or something like that in case we do have like a party night or something like that. Pretty much just keep it to cash and ID and the bare essentials. You really don't need to bring your Home Depot card and,
There is
Don't-
no
don't-
Panera's there.
yeah, you don't.
And your
Don't-
library
you
card?
can leave the Planet Fitness card at home. Yeah, so the more you bring, the more you can lose, so that's how I look at it. I just leave the stuff at home. Thank you. Anything else? Travel tips. Sunglasses are great. Another thing that a lot of us bring, yeah, two's good. Don't bring expensive ones. They will break, you'll drop them, they get crushed, whatever.
Orphans,
Yeah.
abscond them.
One thing I didn't see on here earlier is a lot of us bring bandanas. Those are huge. Bandanas, head wraps, stuff like that.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, highly. When we're in the back of the truck and we're traveling through the city, it's really dusty. The air quality is terrible, and it just is terrible to breathe that stuff in all the time. So when I'm traveling, I have one over my mouth and one on my hair, and that's
Buffs work really great. You can get buffs that like will block UV light and keep bugs off you and everything, and it's just you can wear it any way you want.
Yep.
What is it called? What is it?
It's
called the Buff.
Is your white one out there?
Nice.
Yeah.
They will have
Something like that.
yeah.
Dave is
You can
always
get,
very
like,
prepared with his
package of 12 on
outfits,
Amazon.
and it's awesome.
They're great.
Oh,
You can't bring enough baby wipes. It's,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
you can't,
yeah,
you
they're,
really can't.
they're fantastic. We'll leave that to the imagination. And Gold Bond Triple Action. You can all read that. Write that. Which was probably a quote for me.
You can't just own that? You can't just own that?
No, I wanted.
That was my quote, by the way, I love that quote.
I wanted the wind tunnel. Like, yeah. Yes, small fans. I've yet to find a good one. They're usually dead in a day because I need a fan, but so I just skip it. Last year they installed ACs in the safe house.
Nice.
So, but don't rely on that.
Yep, that's true.
At
Yeah.
nighttime's too bad, usually.
Yeah, the night's
The
pretty
night's
good.
about right for sleep.
Especially in January, it gets down into sometimes even into the upper 60s, low 70s, so it's pretty comfortable.
It's a new location, right? It's not in the city
Correct.
anymore. Is it,
Correct.
is it quieter?
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah.
way quieter.
Trash bags for your dirty clothes. Your clothes are gonna get real dirty. They'll be walking next to you after a few days. So the women there are great though. You can pay them to wash your clothes. So if you only want to bring a small amount of clothes, they'll wash them. They'll clean them. They do a good job. My underwear on the. Yeah, we came home and they were drying. All my underwear was drying. So,
Eric's like, are those mine?
Yeah.
Oh, those are mine, I don't know.
yeah. So that happens. Yeah, be very frank, I guess. And the bottom line there, travel insurance will be provided by the Lavi project.
Correct, so just a 10-second snapshot. $150,000 emergency evacuation insurance, $50,000 in-country specialized healthcare treatment. So it's a very, very good travel insurance. We as an organization, as a board, wanted to make sure that our people were taken care of, and so that's why we do that. It's part of the cost of what you pay for, and we're very happy to be able to give that to you, so. I'll have all that information, each policy I'll get printed out, so I'll have a copy of it. If someone wants to see that policy, or you wanna, whatever, I can get that information to you. But I'll have all of it with me in my travel binder.
Clothing to bring. Haiti is very hot. It rarely rains when we're gonna be there. Usually it doesn't rain for months at a time during their dry season, which is when we'll be there. So bring loose, comfortable clothing, nothing too revealing, nothing too, like Bob said earlier, they do believe in voodoo, so nothing with like skulls or flames or scary looking t-shirts and stuff like that. Because you may, again, going back to the cultural sensitivity, you may offend some people in some cultures if you do wear those kinds of clothing. Depending on what we're doing for the day should really dictate what you're gonna wear. Like if we're going for a work day and we're gonna pour concrete all day, shorts and sneakers and t-shirts is fine. During our clinic days, some of us wear scrubs, some of us wear Shorts and t-shirts can be appropriate, but just as a reminder, you're gonna be working, so be comfortable. Yeah. Flip-flops are really good just around the house, so you wanna bring some good, clothing. Don't bring anything that you're afraid to lose, so don't go out and buy $200 sandals, cause they're gonna get wrecked, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the any place that we go outside of the guest house is, except for maybe the orphanage or something like that, but if we're gonna be walking on the street, or if we're gonna be going shopping, or, you know, going sightseeing, or whatever, flip-flops they're not a great choice to be out amongst the street. They have no infrastructure, there's a lot of trash everywhere, there's, you know, they have bugs down there that we don't have up here, so you can get those through your feet and stuff like that, so. Please bring them and feel free to wear them around the house, and maybe for church or whatever, if we go to church. If you decide to go to church, I should say. Yeah, so good solid sneakers, some sort of good footwear.
Yeah, touched upon this. Another good thing to bring is a set of work gloves. I don't know what our work project is gonna be this year. Someone always brings extra work gloves, but that may not be the case now. So bring work gloves. Add that to the list. At the church, the attire is, if you decide to go, it's informal, but at the same time you wanna look nice. So like a nice pair of pants and a nice button-down shirt, or the women, I don't know what women wear, but look nice.
Yeah, nice shorts are fine, like a cargo khaki short is okay for church for the guys. Culturally, there's a little more of an expectation for the ladies, as far as Sunday attire, just in Haiti in general, so a sundress or a skirt or something like that. You can wear like pants, I wouldn't suggest jeans, something like that.
Hot.
Yeah.
Any questions about clothing? We may end up at a beach one of the days. It's something we've done in previous trips. So swimwear is necessary. Pool at the guest house operational?
I believe it will be.
There is a pool at the guest house, which may or may not be operational. If it is operational, you're free to swim there. So same rules apply with the swimwear there. Yeah. Any questions? Flip-flops for the shower is a good idea.
They do clean everything there, every single day that we're there. The showers and the bathrooms get all cleaned and washed down, and they use bleach on everything. But again, it's, third world country, so shower shoes.
The other thing
Not a
about
bad
the
idea.
guest house is they do provide sheets, a
Yes.
pillow, and pillowcase.
That's correct.
So and that stuff I've always found it to be very clean. So I usually just use that. So I don't, unless you're very specific about your bedding, you don't really have to bring.
Yep.
Duvet or whatever.
Sometimes I would get the teams know to pack an extra pillowcase, because it doesn't weigh very much, but if you're used to having 2 pillows at home, or you just think you wanna be comfortable, you can use that pillowcase and stuff your clothes in it, put a sweatshirt in there, or a towel in there, and it creates its own second
yeah.
pillow.
Towel. Bring a towel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dave?
Turkish towels are amazing. Like, that's what I used last time, and it's oversized, so you can use it as a blanket. It dries off in minutes after you use it as a towel.
It's
So you
called a
get-
Turkish towel.
I believe so, yeah, I'll double check, but yeah.
Take notes on what Dave's saying.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
Dave's for those that don't know Dave, Dave's like,
Seriously. I learned that last year for
Wizardry?
sure.
But it's very lightweight, and it serves as both a blanket and a towel,
Very much.
and it gets really small.
His nickname is Gandalf.
Yeah.
He knows all the secrets.
I do want to mention one more thing about clothing. Even though it isn't Haiti and it is hot, if you tend to run a little on the cool side or get cold easy or whatever, some sort of sweatshirt or light fleece pullover, something like that for the nights, because it does get kind of cool. And just make sure you have something like that, a flannel or hoodie. Hoodie cut.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and sunblock. I don't know what that's on there.
It's lots of, like a lot.
Lots of
Yeah.
sunblock, yeah.
I will use it.
You will use
I'm right
his
there with you.
and yours and everyone else's,
Yeah.
and it still won't matter.
I spent $30 on it last year.
Worth every bit. What'd you do the second day? The major don'ts. I don't know this one.
Yeah, I'll grab this one.
So, I'm not looking to be restrictive in any way. We're all adults, we're all responsible people. I have no problem believing that until I'm proven otherwise. These are things that we gotta really be careful about, and this is one of those big cultural differences. So, paper products in the toilet, so feminine hygiene products and toilet paper as well. So the plumbing in Haiti is rudimentary at best, even though they do have plumbing. We're actually gonna have running water in the showers. And if for whatever reason those don't work, then we'll be able to fill up 5-gallon buckets, and then that's real Haiti, that's Haiti style, where you have a cup and a bucket. So we had to do that a little bit last year. But the paper products in the toilet, they don't have septic systems like we do, so they have a septic tank built underneath the ground. And they have to pay to have that pumped out. And when a team of 28, we could fill that thing pretty quickly. So we need to make sure that it's very difficult for them to pump that paper out. So there'll be a trash can in the bathrooms, and when you're done going to the bathroom and you've wiped, you put that in the trash can. That's weird, it's uncomfortable, I know. Wrap it up, like you would feminine hygiene, a pad or something, and throw it in, that's fine. But we gotta make sure to keep that to a minimum. We do have this, again, with a team this large, we're gonna try and practice the best we can. Everyone's favorite bathroom nursery rhyme. If it's yellow,
Mellow.
if it's brown,
Flush it down.
all right, that comes right from Mr. Rogers, I think.
Mr. Rogers goes to Haiti.
Yep. So the other thing is conserve your water. Military showers, we call them. Get in, turn the water on, get wet, turn it off. Soap up, suds up, turn it back on, rinse off, turn it off. If at any point while we're at the house you hear running water somewhere, that's a problem. We need to make sure that, everyone's out eating dinner and you walk down to grab something out of your room and you hear a toilet running or you hear something dripping. We have to pay for the water that we use. That's part of our being at the guest house. Now, Franz Lee will only charge us once, but if we have something that's running or we're wasting water, that's gonna be a big hit on his business and his income. So we just want to be really aware of that. One of those things we take for granted. I mean, we flush the toilet and we just walk away. We close the faucet in the sink and we walk away. If it's dripping, we don't even pay attention. We don't know. So we want to be a little more sensitive to that. Did I get those good? Did I hit all? Yeah. Okay, so this is very important but very rare, but I need to have everybody's full attention. On the rare occasion something comes up that's emergency. We're at a clinic, let's say it's a 2-hour drive. Franz Lee is the most in tune, up-to-date Haitian in the country. He listens to the radio constantly. He has people all over the area that call him and let him know when things are happening. There's a flood here, there's a this here, there's a riot here, whatever. He is incredibly connected, news-wise, informationally. So we might be out at a clinic and he gets a phone call or the radio's on, he hears that there's some sort of demonstration starting at a halfway point between where we are and where we need to go. He's going to come to me and he's gonna say, get everybody on the truck. Or he's gonna say, pack everything, we need to go, 15 minutes. If I time out the clinic and I say, everybody pack everything we have, I don't care where it goes, put it in something, get it to the truck, we need to leave in 15 minutes. If I have some sort of urgency about what I'm saying, I just need you to do it. Don't ask me anything, don't check in with me except for what else can I do. I'm not trying to be a jerk about that, I just know that we need to move. We get everybody safe, we get it taken care of, and then I will answer every possible question, and I'll have Franz Lee come with me, and we can ask Franz Lee all the questions. But in the very rare case that we would have to do this, I just need you to just say okay and do what you need to do and get us out. There's only been one situation, and it wasn't with the Lavi team, it was with the team that we used to work with, and it was that scenario. We were somewhere, there was one town cut off the water supply to the other town. and which just meant that they threw tires in a big culvert and blocked all the water from getting to the southern part of the town. The southern part of the town had a big uprising. They're coming up to the culvert, and there's one little bridge to go through the culvert, and they're setting up blockades, and we were on the other side of the blockade. So that was one of those situations. Were we in danger as Americans? Were they targeting us? Absolutely not. But it puts us in a situation where we could get stuck in a place we don't want to be. So just trust me. And again, 100% transparency. I'll let you know why we did what we did and what we needed to do. Wandering off from the team. Please don't. I've gone many, many times. I've led many, many teams, and I've always come back with the same number of people. So that is that's a goal that my board expects of me. So let's make sure that that stays that way. Giving things away. You are going to want to give things away. You're going to see somebody, and your heartstrings are going to be pulled because this kid has these flip-flops on that are made out of old trash bags or something. You're going to want to give things away. I completely understand that. I completely want to support that, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we're able to do that, but it has to be done in a certain way. Max here has a great pair of sneakers, and this young kid sees his sneakers, and Max has got tears coming out because he feels the plight of this young man, and he takes the sneakers off and he gives them to the young man, and the young man is triumphantly walking back down the street as he's bludgeoned by 14 other kids who are now stealing his sneakers, and both sneakers go in opposite directions, so nobody gets to use them. So that's just one small story. So we got to really be careful. There's ways to do this, and if you have stuff you want to give away to a specific person, or you see your heart's being tugged for a specific orphan or a child at a clinic, just let me know. And if it's truly not doable, I'll let you know. I'm sorry, we can't do it, but I will make every effort to make that happen. And I might simply say to you, yeah, just do it. Go ahead. Thank you for checking with me. Or I might have to go through a little process or whatever. But it's really important. One of the things that picture this, you've got all these Haitians, and they're very proud people. They're very resilient people. They're very, they've got a lot of integrity about who they are. We had years ago, we had somebody on the team just dump out an entire bag of candy in the street, and kids just went bananas, and kids are getting pummeled and elbowed and kicked, and and the parents were mad, and so we just created this situation that was that kind of ripped away that pride of their people, and it wasn't intended like that. It was really meant to be something nice. I don't expect any of you guys would do that, but we just need to make sure we don't.
Well, just another thing on that, and be careful doing even normal things. This past trip when we went, we had parked down by the Capitol, and we were just checking to make sure everybody was filling their water bottles and drinking because it was an exceedingly hot day. So we're like, who needs water? And it got asked too loud. So we're in an open truck, and there's a guy on the street digging through his grocery bag. Comes out with an empty bottle. He's like, I do, and it created a mess because the people on the street were like, oh, they're giving out water, where the people on the truck were asking the team members if they wanted water. And then, some of the team didn't understand, why couldn't we give this one guy some water? It's like, because all it's going to take is taking that one guy's bottle, and there's going to be 100 people standing there, mobbing the truck, and we wouldn't be able to move. So something as simple as asking, just try not to ask it so loud that the people, the non-team people are.
And don't panic. I mean, if it happens, we'll deal with it. But just be thinking about your surroundings, as we're out there. That's a great example. That was crazy. So we're going to be obviously observing and taking in everything. We're going to be driving in that truck all over the place. Being sensitive, I might be next to Eric and we're joking and laughing and we're pointing out the truck and we're killing ourselves laughing, and all of a sudden, as we're pointing out the truck, we drive past a group of Haitian guys, and here's the two white guys pointing laughing. You know what I mean? With no intent on them whatsoever. It just happened that way. So again, please, we're just going to have fun. We're going to do what we do. We're going to be ourselves with that little bit of extra awareness. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. There's a lot of words here, but this is a lot of words. Disunity is the thing that will cripple any organization and any team. There are 28 people on this team. Some of you know each other. some of you don't. Hopefully the idea is that as we go through these 9 days, that everyone's gonna get to know each other. 28 people, there's a likelihood there might be somebody on the team that you're just like, that's okay. I mean, we're all human, we get it, we're all made up differently. Try not to make that into something that's not. If something's happening on a team, and let's say it's two really good, friends, Noah and Brian are somehow, there's some disagreement. And, it's getting, it's moving in a direction that, is maybe getting loud and maybe getting unresolved. I'm expecting one of these two, or both of them, if they can't resolve it on their own, to come and find me so that, or maybe even find a trusted friend, like they go to Curtis and say, all right, Curtis, listen, this is my side and this is my, and Curtis does the, chop it in half and you get one, you get the other, or whatever. The idea of this is that we want to be proactive. If there's something going on, if there's some sort of issue going on, you think somebody took the Twizzlers or somebody switched pillows because yours was hard and theirs was soft, whatever. I don't know what it could be, but whatever it is, that stuff, if it's not taken care of, can get ugly. And that ugliness can easily start to ooze out and infect the team. Not necessarily everybody picks sides and everything, but you can feel the energy. One of the things Sue said when she came in earlier, she says, man, the energy in here is awesome. Before we started the meeting. That can carry through all 9 days. If there's an issue and you feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, let's try and figure that out. But first of all, take a moment to step back and kind of get the 10,000-foot view and look down and say, is this really an issue, or is it just me being tired, cranky, dirty, smelly? Or maybe they're tired, cranky, dirty, smelly, and I just need to not be near them right now. You know what I mean? Like, take a little bit of an opportunity to evaluate the situation. If there truly is some sort of issue that's happening, we want to make sure that we take care of that. And I, as a team leader, it's so important for me to have that unity continue. And I will, if I see something and it doesn't look resolved, these two, they're arguing about something, I'm not going to bother with that. But if the next day at the clinic they refuse to work with each other and they're not talking to each other, these two guys are going to have a conversation with me. So if I pull you aside because I think I see something, if there's really nothing, just tell me no, it's nothing. And if there really is something, let's just figure it out. All right? We're adults, I'm not going to try and butt into everybody's business, but I also have the responsibility to keep the team functioning well. So, anything else on that?
That's good.
Good. All right. So, and this is a side note, Holly and I are both trained in conflict resolution from the other stuff we've done in our lives. So we have some tools. We might just throw the tools at you and say, go figure it out. Or we might sit with you and show you how, but we'll get through it. So that's just super important. So alcohol. We are allowed to drink at the guest house, and while we're out, we need to be respectful. This is Fransley and Julie's home that we're staying at. It's not just a guest house, it's not just a hotel. Their living space is below us. They've given us the top floor and the third floor with these beautiful balconies and all kinds of room and space. So we need to keep that alcohol out of, it should say out of, not on the, or of the. So we don't want to bring that stuff downstairs. So there'll be coolers with ice cold beer, and we can have wine available, rum and cokes, that stuff's available. Responsibility is key here. This is really a privilege. Again, I'm trusting all these adults to be adults. I was hoping nothing was gonna happen over here. Yeah, you are representing the V Project, and you're representing us as an organization, as a culture, as good human beings trying to do good things, and we don't want to have that tarnished by idiocy, stupidity, things like that. So, all right. So, yeah. So everyone's wondering, oh, what is this? Brian, no, wait a minute. Brian, we worked hard. It was hot. He did not hydrate at all. And then we get home and we're having rum and cokes and we're having, and we're enjoying the night. You get up and still didn't drink any water, dehydrated, ginger, burned. He gets up the next morning, sick. It's Sunday morning in church. Sick. So he threw up at church.
I told him to stop the night before, too.
That's right. All right, that is it for the presentation as a whole. Yes,
One thing to add,
there'll be plenty to add.
yeah. There's a bunch going that have gone before and some that haven't gone at all. So our counsel to you guys and the encouragement is this. If you've been before, try not to overlay your experience onto somebody else if they haven't asked for it. Just let them experience it. You know, that ride home on the truck from the airport it's huge for people who haven't been there before. Now, there's a read for us, and again, it's easier. We usually take teens, so this is adults. I'm really excited about this. Get a read. Is this person like anxious to the point of like they just need that information in order to take the next breath? Or is it just a curiosity? And even so far as to ask them, do you want to experience this yourself or do you really want me to tell you? You know, so that they have that option so that you're not kind of taking away somebody else's first experience. But just being mindful that anxiety is definitely something that's there and you're in a new place in a third world country that if it's really that intense, you know, let somebody know or ask the person if that's where they're at versus
I
just.
personally have been overcome emotionally on a number of trips where I've just broken. That's just my personality. I'm just soft and gooey like that. That might happen. It might not if that's you or it isn't you. You might be surprised. I didn't expect it to happen to me and it did. And now we went and saw Mr. Rogers, the documentary. I cried. It's all because of Edie. So anyway, I'm just saying that there's a lot of things you're going to experience, a lot of new things if you've never been in a situation like this. Don't be surprised if you find yourself really overwhelmed or really anxious or really kind of stuck even maybe, you know what I mean? Process it, talk through it, don't be stuck for days. The one thing we didn't mention, back to some just medical wise, I touched on it just a little bit. If you, for whatever reason, travel will do this to people where it will completely turn your metabolic rate and your insides and your digestive system upside down. Please, if you end up, you know, we land on Tuesday, if by Thursday you're still having diarrhea and you're not turning the corner, you gotta let somebody know. Don't keep that a secret. I know it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know, we're in America. No, we're in a third world country, and if you don't let somebody know and you become so sick that we need to hospitalize you, the team comes to a screeching halt until we figure out how to deal with that. And it's not like we can just send you up to Lowell General or Lawrence General or wherever it is you live. It's a process. We have hospitals that we can go there, and there are specific hospitals good for us as Americans, but that puts the whole team on a standstill. So the other reason, you're there 4 days and you still haven't pooped. Let somebody know, please. You know what I mean? I know it sounds a little embarrassing, it's kind of weird, but it really is important. If there's something going on with you medically, you gotta let us know. If you have a fever, let somebody know, because there are situations, there are things that we can do to help you. There are things we can do to help your digestive system. There are things we can do to help your fever. There are things we can accommodate for you. Day 1 clinic, right? Or day 2 clinic?
Day 2 clinic.
Day 2 clinic. Rachel.
I was pushing like bad fevers.
Yeah,
I had like rigors, it was bad, yeah.
Yeah, and we ended up.
I went to the house, everyone was phenomenal. I never felt more comfortable being sick. Never mind being in a third world country, but.
And she's talking about the Haitian people at the house.
It was whoever was, it was all the house moms, that's what I call them.
Yeah.
It was, I just had a really bad fever.
Yeah, and she.
I told you everything.
That's right, that's right. Yeah. That was helpful for me because I had the opportunity to make that better instead of her suffering, and then who knows, halfway through the clinic that day, now she's, you know, completely undone. Now we have a problem, so it's just important, yeah.
I noticed the first year we went, a lot of us got sick when we came back, just from like the change in diet. Last year I took like probiotics the entire trip, and no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, same
I
thing.
really would recommend that starting a few weeks before, make sure you don't have any nasty reactions to it or whatever, but it was super helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. Good.
Yeah, last year I came back and my stomach was killing me, and then I ate yogurt a few days in a row, and I felt great. It was like nothing like that. All of a sudden, it just went away.
Yeah, no Five Guys right when we get off the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel.
So I don't know if you guys recommend this, but I've traveled before and brought Cipro for a traveler's diarrhea. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So if you can get
That's a
prescription-
pretty standard, if you guys haven't talked to your doctors yet about, like some of the medication, checking up on your Hep B series and all that stuff, ask your primary, tell them you're traveling and ask them for a prescription of Cipro. Yeah, that's that thing, we have it in the clinic, but we always encourage people to bring it if they can, because once you're going home and you're fine, we'll collect that so that we can use it down there still. But that Cipro will turn we call it the Haitian happiness, it will turn the Haitian happiness around like that. So, there's nothing happy about it. Any other yeah?
Females, I don't know about how this Haiti phenomenon works, but for cycles, if you're like, oh, I'm not on my cycle for then, plan on being on your cycle. I don't get it, I don't get it, it's like dominoes, one person, and all the girls are in the room like, I don't know why, I shouldn't. So, you guys are older, but just be prepared to, have that and bring stuff with you if you want.
Yeah.
You can leave it for the, older orphanage girls for another time, so.
Emergency packets.
Oh, good. Everybody familiar with the emergency vitamin packets? Yeah, Walmart, I think it's a 20-pack for like $8.99.
That's your new way of drinking water.
Yeah, those things are phenomenal. I'm usually good for probably 2 of those a day. They definitely beat down hydration, they definitely keep your metabolites level, because you'll be drinking a lot of water, and if you don't have some sort of electrolyte, to balance that out, Propel packets, water flavored packets for your water, because after about 3 days of straight water, you're gonna look at your water bottle and be like, because you don't want it, and then it gets ahead of you, you know what I mean, so.
And do we bring our own water bottle or?
Yeah, does everyone know to bring their own water bottle? I made that mistake the first year, Bob said we were drinking.
It'll be
bottled
it's on the
water.
packing list.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right,
That
so,
is-
yeah, by bottled water, I mean 5 gallons, if you wanna carry 5 gallon jug around all day, that's fine. But yeah, so Nalgene bottles, Camelbacks, whatever, that type of thing, yeah, and I bring 2, because about day 5, it gets pretty gamey. So I'll let the ladies bring it downstairs and they'll wash it out with some bleach, so if about halfway through, if everybody has 2 bottles with them, we can collect everybody's first bottle and they'll wash it and hand it back to us in a couple hours, so.
And then
good call.
will we need flashlights this year? I don't know.
I would recommend, I always recommend
just
traveling
remember- I
with a
tried to make a
flashlight
list
or a
of things.
headlamp.
Okay.
Yeah, clinic days are very helpful, absolutely.
Just to add to what Bob was saying earlier, is that you're gonna be really overwhelmed, and one of the hardest things is coming back here after going to Haiti for the first time. So I would highly recommend not putting yourself on your work schedule the day you get home. For a
If
multitude
it's possible.
if it's possible, for the GI issues and just decompression.
That was a rough shift.
Yeah.
I bet. Somebody else did that last year, was it
Yeah, I
you?
think so, yeah.
You went right in.
Not good.
No, it's not.
I like
And
working in general.
you know what the bottom line is? I mean, the bottom line is it can be done, but it kind of robs a little bit of the decompression process and it puts you behind the 8 ball as far as trying to just catch up, so.
Throw
Anybody
another
else?
thought, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Right now I
How
know
we doing
like
for time?
diet fads are big, so if you're doing like a high protein diet, I learned this the hard way, and you're used to high protein, when you get down, you're not gonna be getting that same high protein, so it kind of knocked me off my feet the first couple of days, just throw in a couple protein bars or something if you
Yeah,
need to
I
switch
packed
over.
powdered protein. Yeah. So.
And then the Dollar Tree spiel.
Oh yeah, thank you. So as you're shopping for the items that we sent you that list that has all the suggested packing items, that's a long list. If you pack all that, you'll have too much. You will be surprised how fast a bag will go up to 50 pounds. So please weigh that bag. If we get to the airport and it weighs over, they kick it back to me, and we have to find somebody who's got a bag that isn't 50, and we've got to take your stuff out of your bag and put it in their bag. And so everybody knows how to weigh a bag, right? If you don't have the scale and it doesn't fit on the scale, step on the scale, weigh yourself, grab your bag, weigh the bag, subtract, right? Okay. Yeah, so. He's like, that's so smart. Alright, anything else?
Sorry, I keep
Yeah,
adding
no,
things, I
keep
think,
going,
and
keep
I'll
going.
make
That's-
notes so that we add it to that.
Just so everybody knows, Holly is,
Do you-
Holly's the executive administrator for our organization, truly she is, that's why,
Always
for the details.
So do you
Um,
want us to, oh, sorry,
Oh, no, go.
I didn't know if you
Finish
wanted
that.
us to get things for the kids.
I am gonna talk about
Oh,
that as soon as
you're
I-
gone,
yeah.
okay, sorry, I'm not listening.
Yes, you are, I just didn't finish my thought.
You'll be getting information, the option, the shuttle buses will be taking us into Logan. Lowell General lovingly allows us to park there,
Saints campus.
Saints campus. So we will be getting in touch with you, about who is going to need parking there. There's a form that you need to fill out, kind of giving permission and letting them know your car and your license plate and all that information, but.
Yeah, they're very, very generous about that. They give us basically the top tier, the parking garage. So if you are someone that's gonna have to drive to there, then we'll have parking available for free for you. And if you're gonna get a ride, let us know, whatever. Is anybody planning on just meeting us at the airport?
Do you have the time yet? Did you send it
Yeah,
out and I didn't see it?
I did.
It's Logan, correct?
It is Logan,
Yeah.
yep, and our
Nice.
flight leaves at 9:35, I think. So we gotta be there by 7
AM?
Yep, so I wanna be there by 7, which means that our meet time at Saints would be 5,
This is Tuesday the 8th,
correct?
9:25.
No, even, I'm sorry, 5:30 meet time at Saints, Tuesday the 8th, correct, yep. I have the itinerary, actually, you know what?
While he's doing that, the forms that you need to fill out, if you haven't filled out tonight, give them to me. If not, get them to me as soon as possible. But they need to be to me, since I'm going, it's gonna make it a little bit more important. Get them to me or to Bob, send them along, so that we leave a copy of the emergency contacts and your medical information here at home. I'll probably have my daughter Bethany, since she's traveled and isn't going this time, be that contact. So if there's any kind of emergency in Haiti that we lose that information or whatever, there's a contact in the US who can get us your medical information or can do emergency contacts so that not everyone's having to, call on their own phone. She can just kind of get in touch with whoever's on your emergency contacts.
Oh, did I mention this?
Oh, I thought that was Bagby's job.
Yeah, he did it too. Stay tuned, wait a minute, coming up. Oh, there it is. You guys wanna take a picture of that on your phone? I will email it to you, but if you want it right now.
I'm so Is it a direct flight now?
It is.
Wow.
Oh, really?
We
Yeah.
fancy.
We did the tour, remember?
That's awesome.
We have an amazing travel agent, so she tries to get the best deal on
That
that.
is amazing. That's amazing.
But I was
Wow.
already at like 1 AM in the morning.
That's
Or
awesome.
it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay, but he said.
But it's still late.
You just don't lose some, you have so much extra time,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have that layover. So,
Yeah, that, we
That's
think
really
that's
convenient.
one of our day things easily. Yeah. All right,
2:58.
any other questions at this point?
Bob, in terms of, yeah, it's that ambiguity piece, never having been before.
Mhm.
Like, will you give us our assignments, like who's doing what?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we'll find out
So
when we get
one of the
there.
things, actually, Holly, did we already break out the small group leaders in small groups?
We did.
Okay,
I
but
don't
that's
have
for-
it for here,
okay,
we'll
that's
email
fine.
that out.
So one of the things for travel, this is purely for me, because I can barely keep track of myself when we're traveling. Who's responsible for me this trip, by the way?
No, I'll do.
Did you see everybody?
Actually, Noah's probably.
Noah's probably good, so.
He's the only
Noah.
responsible one over here, so.
Yes, you know how big it's a big problem watching Big Papa, isn't
I
it?
don't want that
Yeah.
job.
Actually, the bigger job, and it's everybody's job, is to
The whole team's
watch,
gonna be like,
his
where is
backpack.
Bob going?
Watch his back.
watch his backpack, because
Yeah.
all the important forms are in there,
Yeah,
so.
and I carry a lot of cash, on the way down. I will be, actually, some of you, I will be splitting some of that cash up and having you carry it for me, but we usually end up with like $20,000 in cash. But anyway, so back to Rachel's question earlier, Rachel Mays.
You got one of the four of us?
Yes, one of the four Rachel. If you're a Rachel, put your hand up. 1, 2, 3. Is there one more?
Yeah, I think so. And there's two Sues and I'm Rachel Susan, so we're just all gonna get mixed.
You're all getting new
We're
names.
this corner over here.
As you're shopping, going through the list of items that you're gonna bring, if you can, throw in a couple things like children's or infants Tylenol or ibuprofen, children's or infant vitamins. Infant vitamins are a little harder to find, but you can get those liquid form, drop form. And so those are just some things that are impossible to get in Haiti and are extremely valuable for the Haitian children. So just, whatever you can think you can, afford. Yeah.
At this point, if people wanted to donate that, is that an option still?
Oh, yeah, yep,
So
absolutely.
we have enough room for it
Yep,
and
I'll create it. They are so valuable that I will create an extra bag for them to come. Yeah, it's that is $45 well spent if we get an entire luggage bag full of items.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the Employees of Pride Star did a donation drive and we
Yeah.
got,
50 bottles.
yeah, a vitamin, children's vitamins.
So,
Mhm.
what else was I?
Toys?
Toys?
Toys, candy.
Yeah. You can bring toys for the kids, balloons and hula hoops and beach balls and soccer balls. I love soccer
Just
balls.
deflate them first.
Yep, they take up a little room if you don't deflate them. Candy
I'd be
you
that
can
guy
bring.
who shows up with a bunch of.
Yep, you can bring
balls at the
candy.
airport.
I would suggest nothing that doesn't have a hard, crunchy outer shell. Hershey Kisses and Hershey Ministers, stuff like that, don't really travel too well. Any like M&Ms though, somebody brought like an 8-pound bag of M&Ms last year.
And that was fine?
That
M&Ms?
worked out fine.
and milk.
Yeah.
Oh, but on a side note,
I know.
don't put it in your carry-on, because we found a couple team members just got big jars and crammed them with candy and put them in their carry-ons because they didn't have room in their luggage, and security will literally take that whole thing apart. They empty it and take out every piece to make sure, oh yeah, it's very time consuming.
Okay, good to know, thank you.
So put it in your checked luggage.
I don't think I'll put M&Ms. I don't believe it.
Just looking to see. Yeah, as far as snacks go, I would suggest power bars, RX bars, anything like that. Special K bars, granola, those types of things. Crackers, they don't provide us with any snacks down there. Very rarely they'll maybe give us a dessert after dinner one night or something like that. But as far as like, just if you're someone that likes to munch on something in the middle of the day, that's gonna come from you. A lot of times people just bring a bunch of stuff and they just throw it on a table and, there's stuff that you can walk by and grab a Special K bar or whatever, and there's always this enormous snack smorgasbord on the last night where everybody sits around and eats sour cream and onion crackers followed up by Skittles, it's like, oof.
There's no nut allergies on this trip? The pertinent things.
I don't believe so. I did ask. Everyone here was good. So I'll find out from the other ones that weren't here.
So I know that's a big one.
Yeah.
Peanuts.
What else? You talked about passport. Oh, did I mention that? Okay, good. Yep. Oh, this is a good one. This is the presentation I was putting together when I couldn't find the other one.
Is
this my emergencies? Oh, no. Okay. No unneeded risk. So it seems very simple, like, right, you jump out of the truck. The truck's high, the back of the truck's probably waist high. Doesn't mean much when you're in the US, because you jump off, you sprain your ankle, you go to the hospital. You jump off, you sprain your ankle in Haiti, now we have to drag you around for 9 days. Nobody wants to do that. So there's certain things, I'm not saying that you can't jump off the truck, but I'm saying there's certain things that we wanna make sure, like, the orphans love to see gymnastics, right? So don't be doing backflips if you don't really know how to do a good backflip. Some of you are cultured in the art of sharp-edged weapons. We don't want to see any of that kind of stuff happening. None of this. We don't see any of that stuff. All right. And then I did talk about with the bug out being like, hey, if I say all right, bug out, we got to get out of here. Just pay attention. So.
If you're missing something, Dave has it.
Meaning not that he stole it, but that he has some sort of replacement for it. And just, I think just house rules, we talked about keeping the alcohol up top. Don't leave unless you let me know. I have no problem with you guys. Anybody, runners, joggers, if you are, you guys can head out in the morning. Just go in pairs. I'll do a quick tour with you guys so you know where you can go. That's not a problem. If you smoke outside, quiet time is 10. It's not lights out. It just means that we want to be respectful of Fonsley's family. So we can stay up as late as we want. We just want to have reasonable volume. And their children, Hadassah is 15, Anjuli is 10 or 11, and Aiden is probably 6 or 7 now. And they love to interact with the teams. They love it. And Julie would love to have a conversation with you, and Franz Lee will take some time with you. They are incredibly gracious people. And I would really encourage you guys to get to know them and to meet them. We will have an opportunity to hear their story. So very cool. All right, it is like close to 7:40, I think 7:45. Any final questions? All right, if anything comes up, everyone should have my email. You're all in the group email. Please just email me. If I don't have an answer, I will get an answer. And if there is no answer, I'll let you know there is no answer. But I very much want you guys to be comfortable. I want you guys to feel like you have, a grasp on the very best you can going somewhere you've never been. And as far as the clinics and stuff go, it is a polished machine. It really is. And so don't feel nervous about it. We're not doctors without borders. We know who we are and what we're there to do, and we do it well. So, and I've got a great group of core people that have done it already, so.
Can you go around and introduce so we can
Yes.
recognize?
Yes, absolutely. Starting over here, on the drums.
Noah Chittister, you may know my brother Seth Chittister or Sandy Mininen previously. But yeah, up in Washington, and this is my 3rd trip in Washington, New Hampshire.
Brian Sullivan, I'm from Uxbridge, Massachusetts, I'm a paramedic, this is my 2nd trip. And I'm gonna stay away from Bourbon Court.
My name is Curtis Gergenoff, I'm a paramedic, this is my 3rd trip, very glad to be here again.
And his future wife will be coming with us, she couldn't be there.
She'll have snacks. Forget your snacks, she'll have snacks.
My name's Al Marshall. I live in Lowell. This is my first time going, and I just became a paramedic.
Yes, congratulations.
I'm Rachel. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? Go ahead. There's too many Rachels anyway. I'm Rachel Fullreader. I work at Trinity. I'm an EMT. This will be my first time, and I live in Groton.
Dave, go ahead. Swing it back around.
Oh, I'm Dave, it's my 3rd time. I drive an ambulance. See, look, improvement.
You don't have anything else to say?
He doesn't need to say.
I'm a Scorpio.
I like puppies and long
I'm
walks
really
on the
not good at
beach.
wielding knives no matter what pops.
By the entertainment, I can tell.
Alright, Seth, you're up.
I am Seth Rohr. I'm an EMT at Lawrence General. This is my 3rd time
I'm Holly, I am Bob's wife. I have no idea what number trip this is anymore, but I'm looking forward to trying a different demographic. I'm excited about that. All adults, no teens.
This is Holly's first Lavi trip,
Ah,
so I'm very excited. And her, in all honesty, her skill set as the executive administrator is very valuable. And this is going to be huge for me because 28 people of this caliber is just too much for me to handle. But trust, I'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be great.
It's all good. Just have to adjust my meds.
My name is Rachel Mays. I'm in between jobs right now, so I'm fun employed, I guess. No, I'm not. I just finished my job at Emerson Hospital, so you might have seen me in the ED. But now I am at BMC, and so if you ever need anything in the city, just let me know.
And you're an RN.
I'm a registered nurse, yeah, that's what they say. And this is my 2nd trip.
My name's Rachel Williams. I'm a student at Middlesex, and soon to be a nurse. And I work at Little General. Super excited.
First trip?
Yeah, first trip.
I'm Sue Ryan, I'm a registered nurse, I live in Westford, and this is my first trip
You're
too.
a nurse practitioner.
Um,
Susan LaValle, ER nurse for 28 years, but now nursing professor at Middlesex Community College. This is my first trip and I'm on the board. It would be
There's 3 board members going on this trip, by the way.
That's awesome.
You think it's
For
all for
you.
you.
Yeah, we really have to be
It's
here
not-
now.
Good gravy.
The Corys are my fault, I'm sorry.
I'm Danielle. I'm a nursing student at Middlesex. It's my first trip.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen. I'm also a nursing student at Middlesex. I work at Louisville General and this is my first trip.
I'm Sarah Jack. I work full-time at Lawrence General as an EMT, right with Seth, who loves me a lot, and this will be my first trip.
No issues here.
I see what she's laying down there.
Oh, yeah.
This is, we're gonna have some resolution time, I'm sure.
Will not be resolved.
We love each other, it's fine.
Me?
Yeah,
How
you.
about you?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm Corey. I'm an EMT at Trinity. I go to school at UMass Amherst and I'm also an ER tech out there and this is my first trip.
I'm Max, be my second trip. I was very disappointed I couldn't go last year, but I was in school. I'm a paramedic and a new RN as well.
Oh,
Congratulations.
He starts in Lawrence
Yeah,
in
start.
December.
Lawrence in the ER, so.
Awesome.
Good for you, buddy. I'm
You're
sorry.
an ally.
More enemies.
It'll be
Stuff
fun.
them in a lot. Yeah.
I'm Eric, I'm a paramedic firefighter, and this is my 4th year.
And he will be in leadership training.
Eric, I'd follow you anywhere. Wouldn't go anywhere without you, Dave.
Wow, this is awesome. All right, so, yeah, I'm Bob. I've been traveling to Haiti since 2004. I got over 25 trips, and felt extremely blessed to have the opportunity to start Lavi. The organization I traveled with initially was faith-based. I had a whole huge core of friends in the EMS profession. I was with Trinity for 24 years, still there, and met so many ER people and paramedics and EMTs and stuff that loved to hear the stories but weren't able to go. Felt led to do a beta team in 2015 and reached out to anybody and everybody that I remembered had any interest, and ended up with 22 in that team. And by the end of, we weren't even there a day yet, we hadn't even unpacked, and people were like, when we come back next year we can do this. So the beta team quickly turned into a project of love and passion, and I reached out to some very great people to, by the way, that all got sprung on Holly. This is a story I'll tell you when we get down there. She was unaware that this team, the original beta team, was even in process until I started getting emails back saying, yeah, I'll go.
That was the cash flowing in. Also, there's like $500 sitting on the table. Like, what's that for? Oh, for the trip.
Oh.
That trip. Yeah.
That was in our year.
It's all
That
Yeah,
was-
that was the first, yeah, that was the beta. That was with Christina and John Casey and,
Oh my god, yeah, I'm still friends with all of them on Snapchat,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
a wild bunch.
Yep.
Adrian, Loiselle, yeah,
that
okay.
was it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
Yeah.
we took off, and I got incorporated, and we got our nonprofit status, and here we are with our 4th trip and potentially a 5th trip this year in August, and we're hoping to really crack this thing open and
And
see
a
what
project,
happens.
a project for the future is we've really gotta start cracking down on some fundraising. So we'll be looking at you guys to really kind of spread that word and make those connections out there.
Yep.
So
Yep, absolutely.
moving forward.
So anyway, thank you guys for coming. I know some of you drove far, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna look at this video first and find out if it's even remotely gonna be doable. but we'll see what happens, and it won't,
These guys are good.
it won't be because of the talent behind the camera, it will mostly be the talent in front of the camera, so.
I got laughs.
I got jokes, so thank you guys very much, I appreciate it.